So you build a house in the community here in the county. It costs local governments, now they have taxes they're going to collect, so this is not like it's just the existing home buyers going to pay it, or companies, but it's going to cost about $6,000 to provide the public services the other homes here get for this new home. They're going to get the same service everybody else gets, $6,000. Very, very expensive. Did you know this? Close to your guess. But I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself because you're a nice guy. And you're already digging yourself a hole. I'm going to help you give you another shovel, okay? So think about this. I'm in the town, I have like 5 kids, right? Because the average household has like 5.2 or 7 or 9 or some ridiculous number. If I live in a trailer, it's like 26, right? So in the town, we're going to have to hire teachers. So that's teachers. We have to hire police and fire. Where are we going to put? Where are the kids going to go? Trailers? Yeah. You know how much that costs? A lot. Yeah. You know how much? No. Come on, give me a guess, big boy. Okay, I'll put you out of your misery. You have no idea. Here, you build homes, you live in the community, you pay your taxes, you care, and you haven't got a clue, do you? It's upsetting. I can't help you, you don't help yourself. There's only so much I can do here. Every year it's this much money, every single year, okay? Every year. Hey, every year. But that's multifam. They're smaller households. We'll discuss that briefly. That's the capital costs. So you build a house, Todd, every year $6,300, whatever it was. But now you have to also build capital of about $25,000 once, just once. If the local governments collectively band together and borrow the money or take it from reserves, whatever, and spend it and widen arterial roads above and beyond the roads outside the subdivision walls, because you've built those sidewalks and sewers and curb and gutter and doggy poo-poo parks and so on, and splash pond and park and so on, and retention ponds and so on. This is outside the subdivision walls. If they spend that money, the quality of services stays the same. Isn't better, isn't worse. So if people complain to you, my God, life here in Greenville was so good 25 years ago. It was a small town, we were happy, and they whip out the violin and they start going like this. Just close your ears and go yada, 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 because it's not true. Well, it may be true, but it's not the fault of new homes. New homes have not reduced the quality of public services. The local governments may say, we're not going to spend the money, and then the quality of service goes down. But it's not a direct corollary from the new homes being built. As long as the government spends this money every single time a home is built, every home gets this capital, the quality of services stays the same. There's no increase in traffic. There's no decrease in 911 increase in 911 response times. There's no more mercury in the water. Public services are just as good. Parks are just as big. Public safety is just as happy as you were before. Keep your politicians' toes to the fire on this number. If they let up on this, the quality of services goes down, and we guys collectively get blamed because it's our fault because we build new homes. Multifamily is a little cheaper because, again, smaller house sizes. We'll get there briefly. So the question now is, look, the benefits of construction are what? The construction effect, the ripple effect, and the occupancy effect, right? We're good there. The costs are twofold. Todd, what are the costs? There's 2 costs, right, Todd? There are 2 costs. You're not listening, are you? You're a bad student. You're staying late. What are the costs, Todd? The costs every single year are how much? To provide public services every single year. And then there's a one-time capital cost of, gosh, couldn't have said better myself, Todd. You're outstanding. You're the front of the class. The question now is, are the benefits from these construction ripple and occupancy effects big enough to cover the cost of the capital, the one-time capital, and the annual ongoing operation expenses of $6,300? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. The answer almost always is yes, yes, yes. We'll go into those details here quickly. It shows that housing pays for itself in less than 1 full year. Less than 1 full year. Does housing pay its way? Yes, quickly, less than 1 full year. If people out there think housing doesn't pay its way and takes, what, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or never pays its way, just you have concealed weapon laws here in the state. Just take it out and shoot them. They'll be surprised, and they won't hit them, and they will never argue with us ever again. It fulfills a whole bunch of, I'm kidding, of course, but this is really important, because this gets to the crux of the issue. Many people think housing doesn't pay its way. And because they think housing doesn't pay its way, it gives them a license to attack our industry and say, Well, you don't pay your way, we better impose more fees and taxes on you. Higher impact fees, higher road fees, higher this fees, higher permit fees, higher water and sewer hookup fees, right? Tell your grandson about this, okay? All right, these are important. But the fact is, housing does pay its way. The total amount of taxes generated through new construction, the homes being occupied, is more than enough to cover the two forms of cost, Todd, right? Two forms. $6,300 a year and then 23 and whatever it was, right? Right. Now let's show how we get there. Every single new home, every single year, Todd, needs how much? $6,300 times 1,850, and then the multifamily number times that number gets us $14 million a year for teacher salaries. We collect the first year half as big because the homes aren't built on January 1st. They're built over 12 months. On average, they're occupied 6 months a year, the first year. So we have half the police, half the fire, half the sewer, and so on. The revenue, by contrast, is gigantic the first year because you get the entire RIP construction effect taxes, which is like $40 million, all the ripple effect taxes, and then some of the property taxes, 6 months worth of property taxes. If you add that together, it's in the report, you add up, you get $68 million. I can actually show you the numbers. It's pretty simple here. You have to go back like 47 slides. We were still young, but just to make it. Okay, so here, this number plus that number and half of that number, the occupancy effect, plus this number and that number and half of that number together gets us. It's a little complicated, but you can trust me. Is that number, all right? That's how you get it. If you subtract this number from that number, you get this number. Simply. This minus this gets you this, this minus that. That's leftover money. We're happy here. This is the on cash flow basis. Collect taxes, pay salaries, that's what's left. What's the catch, Todd? What have I forgotten? Capital costs of $23,000. What have I forgotten, Todd? Good. The capital cost of $50 million. It's $23,000 per single-family house, $50,000, $15,000 for each multi-fam house. Multiply the number of units times the cost per unit, and you get $52 million. So what our study says is following: look, this operating surplus only exists because we built the homes. We got the taxes from the homes, we pay the policemen and firemen and teachers, we have leftover dough. Let's take the leftover money and use it for one purpose and one purpose only. Take the money and pay off this debt. Pay it off. Every year, take this money and pay it off, 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 using this stream exclusively. Because the only reason we have this burden is because we have these houses. This stream exists because we build the homes, or this cost exists because we have the homes as well. So let's use this money to pay off that money. And let's assume we have to borrow the money. So you borrow $50 million for a whole year, it costs $2.2 million, $2.3 million. Take the money, pay off the interest first. With the leftover money, pay off the principal. And then at the end, there's still leftover money. Huh, how about that? How about that? $62 million minus like 2 is $60 million. $60 million minus 52 is like 8. That'd be 7, rounding errors. You get the idea. Take the money, pay off the interest, pay off the principal, that's what's left. That's net revenue to local governments because as new homes are being constructed. And remember, in prior years when you built more homes, these numbers were twice as big. Local governments had a lot more money because there was a lot more construction going on, a lot more taxes, lots of impact fees, and lots of not property taxes, but permit and construction costs and permit fees and all those fees. They were much bigger in prior years. So you ask the following question. If the homes built in 08 bring in this much every single year, and the homes in 07 bring in that much money, why do we have taxes at all? We should be rich. We should be living the dream here. Like Alaska, they give us money back. But we don't experience, well, why not? Well, okay, look, what's going on here, like is going on everywhere else, is new homes that are being constructed are relatively expensive. They cost $230,000, $240,000. Is there a realtor in the room? No, not one. You're too nervous. What's the median existing price of a house here in town? $150,000. So these new homes cost $230,000. They're new. They're bigger. They're fancier. But the existing homes cost $150,000. You know what? I'm guessing based on the numbers here, the existing homes don't cover their cost. They're not paying enough in property taxes and local option sales taxes and hunting licenses and cable TV and cell phone taxes and water and sewer taxes to cover the cost. And the government's losing money on these homes. That's okay. I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing. That's not the issue. It's okay. But the new homes are the brass ring. They bring in more than their cost of services because they're big. They're big and they're fancy and they're nice. People have them are rich. They have more money. They spend more money in town. They generate more tax revenue. Now, on top of this, when these new homes come in, you have stores and restaurants open up and retail establishments, industrial parks and strip malls. They pay taxes and there's money there too. And all that money that comes from the other stuff, strip malls and commercial office space and retail space and industrial parks, and the net revenue from new homes helps defray the cost of providing public services to the existing householders who aren't paying their fair share. The new homes are subsidizing the existing homes. It's not that the existing homes are subsidizing. No. It's the opposite. Now, let's prove this to ourselves just intellectually here. Let's suppose the naysayers are right and new homes don't pay their way. So every time you go to House Todd, you drain money from the economy. It's like you're going right over here to Teresa and saying, give me money, give my new household money. We'll tax you to pay for my new home. You build a house, she pays taxes to me indirectly to subsidize my cost of infrastructure or teachers or whatever, right? That's the belief that's pervasive in much of the country. If that were true, where would you want to live? You want to live in a town where they're not building homes. Because then Teresa's taxes would be lower because she wouldn't be subsidizing me indirectly through property taxes and then intergovernmental transfers and all that kind of stuff. Let's think of that. Towns that aren't growing should be rich. Well, Detroit's not growing. Pittsburgh hasn't grown in years. Cleveland, they don't know what the word means. Buffalo hasn't happened in decades. The population has been stagnant forever. They build in Buffalo 700 homes a year. You built here 3,500 2 years ago. You built 5 times as many homes here in Buffalo. You aren't even a quarter of their population, right? That means Buffalo should be better off than Greenville, right? Buffalo should be way better off than a place like Charlotte where they're growing, or Nashville, right? Or Dallas, or San Antonio,